I'm here today with author Tony Catanese, and Tony is here. He has written a book called Harmony, Florida, Living with Nature in a New Town. I'm so excited. Tony. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really a story that I thought had not been adequately told or told at all. So I talked to Jim Lantz and Martha Lantz, and they said, sure, we're glad to help you on it. So we did it.
Well, that's good. And so there were several people, right? So Martha and Jim Lantz are the original people who started Harmony.
Yeah. That in itself is a fascinating story. Jim was kind of a bond guy, a financial guy. Mm-hmm. And Martha was really into animal protection. She was chairman of the Florida Humane Society. She had worked with the ASPCA, and she was really interested in wildlife and animals. And then Jim started getting interested in real estate after dealing with the bond market, mostly in New York City. And he found out about this ranch. This ranch was for sale. It was 10,000 acres. And he thought, I think what 192 here with the growing area, I think this would make a great development. So we put together a team, including Martha, and they decided to do something that was really unique. Mm-hmm. They wanted to use the principles of a planning concept called new urbanism, and then combine that with Martha's love of animals and Jim's love of nature. So they developed Harmony. And what's fascinating about it, of the 10,000 acres, approximately 75,000 acres are in conservation. So, they could have just flattened this out and just made typical urban sprawl, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. They made a fascinating new town. Now, I want to clarify something. I'm talking about what is known as Harmony, Maine. And
it's funny how we coined that name.
It is not Harmony West, and it is not
Harmony Central.
It's Harmony, Maine. And Harmony West and Harmony Central are fine, but they're more typical suburban developments, not like the part of Harmony we're talking about. But they still have a lot of the good principles, a lot of the conservation, and that's important too. And I suppose most importantly for realtors, mm-hmm. these homes bring in more people. So some of the original plans of Harmony about a downtown with convenience stores, and so you wouldn't have to go 10 miles to get a quart of milk, that's going to be possible. Because now we have more roofs, more people, more demand. Right. So I have no problems with the new additions to Harmony.
Right. And I love by the way, a lot of people that move to Harmony Central and Harmony West are disappointed because they think they're living in Harmony. Now we call Maine because we have to coin it. So they're a little bit disappointed because they thought they were part of the original Harmony, with the, kayaks, canoes, the pontoon boats, walking trails. So,
mm-hmm.
But,
buyer beware.
Yep. But, no. So you're Martha and Jim Lantz. So did they come up with a theory?
Yeah, it was very interesting. They'd of course seen some of the other, new urbanist towns, which was my former book. It all started out in Seaside, Florida, which was the granddaddy of all new urbanism. But there were other towns, Celebration, mm-hmm. Florida, Abacoa. So there are about 20 new urbanist towns in Florida. So they visited them, they liked them, they saw the potential, and then they did something very intelligent. They got kind of a planning committee, and they got some good architects, some good engineers, and some good academics. Mm. And then Martha, of course, got a whole bunch of people from the ecology, wildlife area. So you had this large planning group that came together with a lot of plans. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you an interesting story. It's in the book, so I'm not divulging any secrets. But they went for the financing because this is just two people. Right. Obviously the successful people. And I neglect to use the term mom and pop, but that's basically what it is. Right. And they had never done anything like this before. So they're very, very intelligent to get help. But then when they went to some of the big financial people, mostly in New York, they said, yeah, do away with that stuff and just do a traditional development, and then we'll fund it. And Jim and Martha were absolute champions. And they said, no, we want to make this something special. We want to show that you can be a good developer. And, like Celebration was, as you know, planned and developed by Disney. Mm-hmm. So they had all the capital in the world. Abacoa in Palm Beach County, that was the MacArthur Foundation. So they had all the capital. Seaside was a little different, but the developer there, Robert Davis, he already owned the land. So that made it a lot easier. So they want to prove something, that good developers
can
do something. Mm-hmm. Maybe they could have made a lot more money doing it the old-fashioned way, but it wouldn't have been very interesting. Although there's some very interesting research going on now showing that new urbanism developments, while they're more expensive to build because all the amenities are involved, the return on investment is 15% higher. So as we begin to document this, I think we can show that, good planning and good design does have a payoff. That's why we wrote the book. Jim and Martha wanted me to write a book that would explain if you do things in a very special way, there's a return on investment rather than taking the easy way out. And that's important. Now, I should also say that, as you know, there were a couple of development companies that went in and also helped out a lot too, was finance. I guess they were actually hedge funds, BlackRock, and then later the Terra people. And they added a lot to it as well. I keep talking about the principles, but just a quick replay on what is new urbanism.
Thank you.
You can walk.
Yes.
You can walk just about anywhere. Although I know it's actually an increasing number of golf carts. Come on, people, walk. That's why we planned this down. It does have a center, and it does have stores that are neighborhood-oriented stores. Of course, we also have a golf course, and the golf course has a clubhouse. We have a center, which I think will be developed for some new uses as well. It used to be the sales center. But the most important thing, we have lakes, very important lakes, that you can't have power boats. You can't develop the lakes. So you really do have preservation of the lakes. And in Florida, as you know, that's so important. And the walking trails. To me, the most wonderful part of Harmony is the walking trails. Right. You can really get to nature. And, right across the street from where we're going, those are my jogging and walking trails. It's typical for me to get up there in the morning and there's 6 or 7 deer blocking my trail. And
what about you get beautiful sunsets right here on the lake too. I mean, sometimes I come home from work and I look at the sunset in my rearview mirror and I pull over on Schoolhouse and I jump out and I run down to the trail with a little swing and I'm like, it's gorgeous.
Well, the fascinating part is if you look that way east, you can see the rockets launching from Cape Canaveral. I mean, we're 50 miles away and you can still see those rockets launching. The other thing that's important, our development code says that every house really has to be different. So it's not your typical cookie cutter houses in Harmony, Maine. And many of the houses have the garages in the back, in alleyways. And on front, you have a porch. And you're encouraged to sit on the porch and talk to your neighbors, which we do all the time. And a very wise man once said that, look, if you want to be alone, don't move to Harmony. Move to New York City.
Right.
In Harmony, you interact with your neighbors. You know your neighbors. You talk to them. You see them all the time. And I would say part of it is because of the design. The design encourages it. Frankly, almost makes you do it. Because you can see your neighbor on their porch.
Yeah, I never even thought of that. So this past Halloween, our neighbors to the left of us are a retired couple. and there were 6 houses, and we all sat on the porch for Halloween, but she went around to each house to visit, just kind of, hey, how you doing? Went to each house. How you doing? How you doing? And then we found out one of the neighbors who had actually, I could say, Cherry had a part in the book, correct, with the photos. And we found out that she had hurt herself. None of us knew, but because this neighbor went around to everyone and said, did you know that Cherry hurt herself? And then we all went to visit Cherry that night of Halloween. So just talk about neighborhood, that's why I love that. And one of the favorite parts I have in Harmony, besides everything you've already mentioned, are the dark sky lighting.
Yes.
And I explain that to so many people that, usually stop by a street light and say, look at the lights. I said, you'd be amazed at night. When you come out of it, you can see the stars.
Matter of fact, it's so special and unique that Florida Tech has a very important space and astronomy program. They used to hold festivals here, dark sky festivals. And it got so popular that we couldn't handle it anymore. I think the last one had 10,000 people came here to watch the dark sky. So I think that these kinds of things, they cost a little more money because you don't come in with a bulldozer and just plow down everything. Yeah, but the quality of life that it's created is just so very special. And that's what we're trying to say in the book. We're trying to say that this can be done on what I call green fields. So land like this in Central Florida, Osceola County, thousands and thousands of acres of former cattle ranches that are going to be developed.
Yeah.
The land between St. Cloud and Melbourne will all be developed along 192. And so what we're trying to do is use this book to say, look what you can do here in Central Florida and elsewhere. And we've got some big owners, as you know, to the east, the Deseret Citrus and Cattle, 500,000 acres.
Yep, that's a lot.
They're going to develop that. So, and we've talked to them. They're very interested in what we're doing, and they've come and looked at what we're doing. So I'm confident that this idea may be extended. As I say, we didn't invent the idea. New urbanism is around. But what we added that was never done before was the conservation. Nobody has as much land in conservation as we do. And the wildlife, no one has that kind of wildlife.
Yeah.
And it's so special. Now, sometimes annoying. We had some beautiful little plants out front. And I came in one day and they're all gone.
Did the deer eat them?
The deer got them. So watch what you plant in front.
Right.
So I had to go to my landscape.
Or when we're driving down the street and the cranes block your way and you just wait for the family to cross, but you're in a rush. You're like, okay, cranes, I'll wait. But it's great. You don't have that anymore.
One of my neighbors moved here from the West. And he said, in Texas, we eat those things. Let them walk.
So what's the earliest date for this new urbanism? Like how far does it go back?
Yeah, it goes back to probably 50 years. And Harmony, I guess Harmony this year is 35 years, I think, for Harmony.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah. And
it's 20.
2003.
20 years? Well, the first house on Buttonbush was 2003. That's the lowest.
Oh, okay.
So I'm planning, I'm sure, was way ahead.
And, it's special too, by the way. And by the way, the golf course, I just went over that quickly, but that golf course is, again, one of the most ecologically sound designs anywhere. And various organizations have given it top stars for environmentally sensitive land. And I tell you, if you're a golfer and your ball goes a little astray into the conservation area,
you're going to run into something.
Drop a ball. You're not going into conservation areas, and that's very special as well. By the way, I should also give credit to Jamie Abel, who was our editor, and Cherry Heck, who did an astounding job with photography. We wanted to show the photographs to give a sense of what it looks like in Harmony with animals, with the wildlife, as well as the construction. The other thing is we have both an HOA and a community development district, and they put on events that are not only successful, they're too successful. They draw people from all over this region. because people want to come and see Harmony, and they want to see the social events, often tied in with holidays, of course. And Halloween, previously we had lived in Melbourne, Florida, Melbourne Beach, actually. And we were there for 16 years. One trick-or-treater, 16 years, because we lived on an A1A. Mm-hmm. We moved to Harmony. 800 kids came by for trick-or-treating. I mean, I love it. But,
I do too.
That just shows you that the human part of it, what good design and good planning can do, that this is a whole social experiment that's been very successful.
Oh, yeah. I love the trick-or-treaters. I totally agree with you. So let's talk about you for a little bit. So for those people who haven't seen your previous video, or tell us about yourself, how you came to be where you are.
Okay. Well, I was originally from New Jersey, and my father was in construction, and he moved to the metropolis of Ocala, Florida. And so as I'm a Florida kid, I originally wanted to be into real estate, but got involved in architecture and then city planning. So really spent my career in architecture, city planning. I'd been in consulting in Hawaii and Alaska and Florida, and then got drawn into teaching. So I've been Dean of Architecture at the University of Wisconsin, Dean of Architecture at the University of Florida, and then President of Florida Atlantic University, where I worked on Abacoa, the new town in Palm Beach County, with the MacArthur Foundation. And then until a few years ago, I was president of the Florida Institute of Technology here in Melbourne.
Wow. Yeah.
Incidentally, we did some original work. You'd be interested in this. One of Martha Lantz's theories was pets actually help you recover from illnesses, can help you relieve stress. And she actually commissioned Florida Tech's Department of Psychology to do a study. And so we did a study a few years back. And what we found is that she was right. Petting a dog or just having a nice, calm dog by your side, it really does relax you. It does lower blood pressure. It does actually speed up healing if you're recovering something. And our research found that we can substantiate that scientifically, let's say numerically, for dogs. Mm-hmm. We couldn't do it for cats. So sorry, cat lovers. Get a dog.
I have a dog, but most of my family have cats. So, oh, well, that's great. So where can everyone buy the book?
Barnes & Noble, Amazon. Amazon actually published it. So it's pretty widely available. Amazon's the easiest way to do it, of course.
And then how long ago did it come out?
A couple months ago now.
Oh, okay. So we're good.
It's brand new. Yeah.
And it's gotten good reviews.
Yeah, it has. It's gotten 4 or 5 reviews that, to tell you the truth, surprised me. I mean, you always expect some criticism, but they're very positive reviews. Kirkus reviews, several others. I'm very pleasantly surprised with the book. We'll see how the professional societies do. It always takes them a year or two to review it, but we'll see how they do.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you so much taking the time.
Thank you, Jeanine. And thank you for what you do, because I think your work really helps improve the quality of life.
There's nothing bad I could say about Harmony. You know, there's always little bumps and hills, and you know, for as long as I've lived here, since 2005, it comes around. Yeah, and it's still a beautiful community that you can't find any. I've never seen anything like this. No, you know, I've seen a lot of places. Yeah, I've seen a lot of places. So, well,
I hope it really does provide a kind of a model for other development, especially in Osceola and Brevard County, which are going to experience so much growth in the coming years. And, you know, some people don't want to see it, but
it'll happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. And I'd hate to just see cookie cutter after cookie cutter after cookie cutter. You know, that's right. You know, that's what happens around us.
And that's why Jim and Martha Lantz made such a contribution, that you don't have to be a gigantic corporation to do this. I mean, 2 motivated, successful people who did it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So thank you to Jim and Martha Lantz.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanine.